So in this video, I want to talk about Frieren because I have not talked about it on the channel much at all with its airing, and honestly, it deserves to be talked about because it's a series that I've been watching weekly, and that's the thing. Just because I don't talk about something does not mean I do not watch it. I watch a lot of animes weekly, rewatch a lot of older shows as well, but a lot of current airing animes, and I don't talk about them. And this is one of those that I really want to talk about because it's just a series that I really look forward to every single week. It is an absolute phenomenal series. But the first bit of the writing on the wall is how it started. This is a series that started in a very different way, and I know some people will point to things like Oshinoko, but this took it one step further. And so by that is that Oshinoko had a 3-part episode for its first episode, so it was 3 episodes in one, and then it was a single core anime. But Frieren decided to take things to the extreme, where it is a 4-part episode, so it's 4 episodes banged into one, and it is going to be a double core season. So 2 cores, that means 12 to 13 episodes, give or take. So back to back, 6 months of Frieren. And that is honestly showing right there that they're putting all their chips on the table. But it paid off. The story is absolute phenomenal. It really gets me very much emotionally invested in these characters. Episode by episode, the world building, not just like for what Frieren's currently doing in the time, but also the backstory as well. And it's not just like going over the hero party with Himmel and everything. You go even further back to Frieren's teaching with her mentor, and especially in the recent episodes, what I expected and what I got were 2 completely different things, but I was so much more happier with the surprise. And a lot of that comes down to the build-ups. Like, there's some really big build-ups where you're sitting there, you're thinking, okay, there's going to be a really big epic fight that's going to happen. It's going to be 10 minutes of back-to-back or even 15 minutes of fighting, high intense action, and it turns into this interesting backstory build-up throughout the episode of to do with manner and social structures and hierarchy systems, and then at the end it just turns into a simple line, a one single line ending of a fight, and that's the end of it. And you may think that's unsatisfying just hearing that, but the way it built it up, the intensity, the conversations, the backstory, the character, the world building, like all these pieces of the puzzle come together, and it feels so satisfying to see that one epic line at the end and seeing that conclusion to what could have been a 15, 10, 5-minute long high intensive fight. But the way it ended, it was short, it was sweet, and it was clean and precise with precision. And that felt extremely satisfying to see. And that is one of the reasons why I absolutely love Frieren. Sure, it's not got fancy animations and all that kind of high budgeting, but to me, I still see it as absolute perfect. Honestly, I would give it a 9 to 10 out of 10. It honestly, there are many episodes where I sit there and say to myself, can I see them doing something better? And I try and sit there and I try and nitpick as much as possible to try and find something that I could think that they could do better. And honestly, no. There's nothing that I could see them doing better. They do so well when it comes to the world building, the characters, the chemistry, the pacing. I'm sure there is differences between the anime and the manga. Again, I am not a manga reader. I don't know what happens in the manga. And I'm sure there are some differences, but to me, the anime is just done so well. It is an absolute masterpiece of a series. And I know when last time I talked about a series where I basically said it was a masterpiece, 10 out of 10 in my opinion, I got some backlash and people getting very angry that apparently my opinion was that I thought a series was perfect, and them saying, well, no, it can't be perfect because I don't think that. So that's fine. If you don't like Frieren, you don't like these series, you don't think it's perfect, that's fine. But for me personally, I've enjoyed the series from start to finish so far. It's not finished yet, but what I mean by that is start to current day of what I'm watching, and it's just an absolute beautiful experience. Every single episode I'm enjoying, looking forward to, eagerly awaiting the next revelation, what possibly could happen, what fight will they get into, what surprise will be undelved, what backstories are going to be delved into. Like, honestly, the amount of little nuggets with her backstory is just an absolute treat. And one of the funniest things is that I see some complain about Himmel, not in a bad sense, but more of like a fun jab of like, you know, this boy, he gets like a 30-second scene in an episode and he just takes the show away. Like, you get this whole big episode and he just steals it just for 30 seconds that he just pops up in. And it just really shows that they've built these characters so well. You've become attached to them. And that's the thing. Himmel's not even the main character of the show. He's a backstory. I mean, for the first couple of episodes, he's built up because, of course, he's old now. He's moved on. But you get those backstories, and you get attached to these characters that are long past in the story. That they're just, you know, building the current story. That is really, really, really well done character building, in my opinion, and that's what I absolutely love about it. Even Frieren's mentor, I really like her, and the more I'm seeing about her, the more I'm getting attached to her, and the more I want to learn about her, because she's got some interesting quirks to herself, especially with some of the lessons that she's teaching Frieren as well about mana. And to be honest, I actually don't agree with the mentor's mindset about magic and disgracing it and cowardly kind of thing, like concealing your mana as like as a thing of shame, or like that's not the right thing to do. I actually think that is the right thing. Like, any person that is a tactician that is in battle, you do what is necessary to win the battle. In my opinion, what she is doing is not shameful or dishonoring or any like of those kinds of words. I think it is a clear, clever tactic. But I think it's that what they more are pointing out is that there's clearly this kind of pride thing when it comes to magicians and demons, and the way they're like, this is not fair. But it's like, yes, but you deceive with words, and see, that's a hypocrisy in the demons. But that's what makes actually the demons kind of almost human in a way, is that, yeah, they manipulate human emotions and they don't quite understand them, but they just say whatever works with the humans. But they have their own way of communicating, their own sort of internal language of social structures and how they value things, especially when it comes to things like mana. They see it as like a social structure, like a thing of status. Like, the bigger their mana pool is, the more they are up in society, in the same way as the mentor pointed out with things like wealth and power for humans is a way of putting people on status, but the demons have mana. And I just think it's really interesting in how they build these multiple layers of the world and the characters. And it's just, honestly, I could talk for days about every little tiny little itty gritty little detail about these episodes, and that in itself right there proves that the story is absolutely beautiful in the level of detail that it goes into with things like, for example, the meaning of love, time itself, the passage of time, and how Frieren kind of treats time as very nonchalant, just kind of, whatever, you know. She could sit around in the town for like a couple of years and read some books and learn some new spells or fun little things and gimmicks and all that. And that just doesn't mean anything to her. But for a human, not her because she's an elf, but for a human, that would be like, hey, I'm wasting my life away here. And because her lifespan is so much more larger, she values things very differently. And it's the same with the demons. Because of how they live and how they do things, they value things in a very different structure. And seeing that is just really fascinating, because you can sit there and say, okay, well, why do the humans value things the way they do? Why does Frieren or elves value things in the way they do? Why do demons value things in the way they do? And I am curious to see if there are more races being added that have different value structures in the overarching story, because it just adds so many potential discussions and theories and ideas and thought processes that I can go through, being like, hey, like, what is with these demons? Why do they value things in the way they do? Why do they not care about the human elements of emotions, but they care about these other things that humans don't care as much about? That's where all this potential comes, and that itself is a very good sign of a series. If you can think deeply about these kind of things, even though some people say, oh, you're over-analyzing, but for me, that is a good sign. If you can start asking these interesting questions, that means characters, worlds, lore itself and different races have been built so well with this in mind, and the writer or the manga artist or both, they've done an absolute phenomenal job. So if you do want me to talk about more about Frieren and go into the more itty gritty details of what I think about different topics, and you want me to cover certain topics on Frieren, definitely say down in the comment section down below, and I'll write them down and I will put them on the to-do list as far as content goes. So of course, if you like this video, Definitely tell me what you think about the series in the comment section down below. If you like the video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.